Rolling Stone is reporting that Trump has been asking some close associates, God know who that would be. They're all gangsters, liars, bastards, grifters. But according to Rolling Stone, he's been asking in his run-up to announcing that he was going to run for the presidency in 2024 about using firing squads or group executions. What the... The filthy bastard Trump apparently is still committed to expanding the use of the federal death penalty. Remember, right before he left office, how many people were executed? Boom, 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 boom. And he wants to bring back banned methods of execution, according to these sources. According to one of the sources who talked to Rolling Stone, he has even thought about televising the footage of executions, including showing condemned prisoners in the final moments of their lives. Now, you think this is crazy stuff? And according to Rolling Stone specifically, Trump has talked about bringing back the death penalty using firing squads, hanging. And this last one really, I don't know. I trust Rolling Stone as a source, but he also wants to start using the guillotine. What? This is not an April Fool's story. And these sources say he's also discussed group executions. Okay, let me go on. According to Rolling Stone, he's also brought up these ideas while he was discussing his campaign rhetoric that he's going to use on the brain dead scum who will vote for him a third time. And he also talks about other things he wants to do and his contempt for Joe Biden's approach to crime. And according to another source who spoke to Rolling Stone, in at least one instance, Trump privately mused about the possibility of creating a flashy, government-backed video ad campaign that would accompany a federal revival of these execution methods that this sick bastard has been thinking about. And he discussed the videos would include footage from new executions, possibly the exact moment of the condemned person's death. And the source told Rolling Stone, quote, he believes this would help put the fear of God into violent criminals. He wanted to do some of these things when he was in office before, but for whatever reason didn't have the chance, unquote. Now, I think anyone else, other than somebody living in an institution who spoke these words, we would all go, oh my God, that person really needs some help. Maybe electroconvulsive therapy or some kind of drug treatment. But this is Trump. So we know that whatever comes out of this filthy son of a bitch's mouth is probably what came out of the filthy son of a bitch's mouth. It's not made up. But a Trump spokesgeek says, oh, it's all bullshit. This spokesgeek in an email to Rolling Stone, because Rolling Stone, when the writer put this piece together, they send a query to the Trump scum. Hey, you want to comment on this? This is what we're going with. So a Trump shill said, quote, more ridiculous and fake news from idiots who have no idea what they're talking about. Either these people are fabricating lies out of thin air, or Rolling Stone is allowing themselves to be duped by these morons. End quote. Yeah, Now, the Orange Vomit's love of and enthusiasm for Grizzly video campaigns has been documented before, including in an anecdote from a former aide that had the Orange Vomit, when he was president, demanding footage of, quote, people dying in a ditch and bodies stacked on top of bodies so that we could scare kids so much that they will never touch a single drug in their entire life, end quote. In other words, kill people involved in drugs, kind of like the former Philippine dictator Duterte, who is responsible, according to as many reports as you care to look at, human rights organizations, tens of thousands of street executions, summary executions on the street. Oh, you've got drugs in your backpack. Boom. Now you're dead. When asked about firing squads and other execution methods, the person talking to Rolling Stone said, check out Trump's 2024 campaign announcement, which was a couple of months ago? Quote, every drug dealer during his or her life, on average, will kill 500 people with the drugs they sell, not to mention the destruction of families. We're going to be asking everyone who sells drugs, gets caught selling drugs, to receive the death penalty for their pain. End quote. Everyone who sells drugs. I guess they mean street drugs. So not to treat this as if it's coming out of the mouth of a sane person, but just for shits and giggles, if it's legal to sell marijuana in Colorado, but illegal to sell it in Mississippi, how is this enforced? Because Trump, this sick son of a bitch, is talking about federal law, so what do? You don't think it through. That's one thing. You just listen to the rhetoric. And if you're a brain-dead MAGA supporter, you go, yeah, that'll be good. Except leave my fentanyl source alone, And at a rally back in October, and he got cheers and applause from his audience about this, according to Rolling Stone, Trump pitched a form of supposed justice that has been embraced by some dictatorships around the world. Quote, and if the drug dealer is guilty, they get executed, and they send the bullet to the family, and they want the family to pay for the cost of the bullet. If you want to stop the drug epidemic in this country, you better do that, even if it doesn't sound nice. End quote. When somebody this effed up is running for the presidency as the headliner of one of the two major political parties, how are we as citizens expected to react to this? And how is anyone in a lawmaking situation, the Congress, how do they react when the population of this country is demanding an end to gun death? And Trump is talking about shooting people in the goddamn street. And as Rolling Stone points out, this sick bastard's enthusiasm for the death penalty has already proven lethal. And it was the final month of his administration. Do you remember this? He oversaw the execution of 13 federal prisoners. 13. And since 1963, up to this orange vomit, only 3 federal prisoners had been executed, including the Oklahoma City bomber and mass murderer and Christian nut crazy bastard Timothy McVeigh. And in January of 2021, in those few days before Biden would become president, Trump ordered 3 executions in 4 days. A former official in the Orange Vomits White House said, quote, "In conversations I'd been in the room for, President Trump would explicitly say that he'd love a country that was totally an eye for an eye." That's a direct quote. That sort of criminal justice system. And he'd talk about how the right way to do it was to line up criminals and drug dealers before a firing squad. And Trump would say, "You just got to kill these people." End quote. You just got to kill these people. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.